What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you two videos, the first of which is going to be coming out here earlier in the afternoon, and one of them is going to come out in the evening. But this video today is going to be discussing the overall roster limit on MLB The Show 20 in franchise mode, because this is a problem that I ran into here in the off season, and as you guys will see, I'll be posting an update video later today on how this season went if you are following that series. But when you get to the off season, and probably at other points during the season, you might run into an issue where you have too many players on the roster, and that can cause problems for you, whether that be not being able to sign free agents and it telling you your roster's full, you can't sign any more players, or maybe it could be something along the lines of not being able to perform a trade that you want to do, maybe not be able to re-sign somebody that you want to re-sign, and it can present a few different issues as such. So what is the overall roster limit and how to avoid being over the roster limit? Well, first and foremost, you have your roster limit at each level, which is 26 players for the MLB, AAA, and AA. Well, your roster limit down at the single A level isn't really, there really is no roster limit there. You could technically put all the players down in single A that you wanted to, and that's where the number gets a little bit iffy. There isn't anything super clear that's going to tell you, that's going to pop up on the screen and say, hey, you know, this is how many players you need to cut. It's not like Madden, it's not like other games where it specifically will come up with dialogue on the screen to tell you, this is how many players you have, this is how many players you need to cut, this is how many players you can possibly have on the roster. It's not very clear here. So if you look at the bottom right of the screen where that red number 93 is, that is where you determine what the total number of players on your roster is. So right now I have 93 and it's showing up red, so I know that I have too many players on the roster. And if we go ahead and just cut a few players, we'll go ahead and cut until it shows white. That will determine whether or not we have the correct number of players on the roster. So we've now cut 3 players from 93, and we got down to 90, and it is showing up white for us. So that's how you know that we are within the roster limit now. We are maxed out at 90 players, but that is the roster limit on MLB The Show 20. It is 90 players. Now, why is it an issue that this pops up and happens a lot of the time? Well, the reason that this happens is people don't tend to account for the fact that they have an entire class of rookies that come into the game as soon as the season is over. And so you're having multiple guys, whether that be 5, 6, however many players you drafted, that entire class of rookies is going to be inserted into your roster, and more than likely, if you kept all your players from last season, you're going to end up over the roster limit. So you have to make decisions on who you're going to keep and who you're going to get rid of. So that presents a option for you at the end of the season. Maybe you try to consolidate a few of those players and try to maybe trade, like let's say you're at 93 players, maybe you trade 2 for 1 and try to trade up and get better players, but then you end up with a lower roster total so that you have a better quality of player and you're not over the roster limit. That's up to you guys how you want to manage it. I just wanted to point this out to you, let you know that it's a total of 90, and let you know that this is an issue that I faced a couple times now, and it's something that, I didn't really think I could make a video on, but realized, I'm sure other people are running into this issue and thinking the same thing, like, man, why am I always over the roster limit in the off season? And it's actually pretty simple. It's just your draft class coming in and kind of messing things up because you have too many players. So keep that in mind whenever you're signing your rookie contracts. Maybe when you get your draft class in and you go to re-sign them right after you draft them, or you go to offer them a contract right after you draft them, maybe consider not signing everybody. If you have a couple of prospects that really aren't that good, just let them go, and they'll go out and hit the free agent market in the off season, and you can keep your roster total a little bit lower so that you can have some wiggle room and be able to make some moves in the off season. So that's it for you guys. Hopefully it helped you out in some way. If it did, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below with what you guys would like to see next. Like I said, I'll see you guys later on tonight with an update of this Pittsburgh Pirates franchise, and I hope you guys have a good night. See ya.